Hey everybody, Aragon here, once again with my wife Flowery.
Hello.
Today we're talking about Dune Part 2. We will be sharing our opinions, just obviously based on what we saw. Once again, there will be spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, I suggest turning around, and if you don't mind, then we'll keep going forward. So let's get into it. Alright.
Okay, so what did you think of Dune Part 2?
I thought it was great. I did. I thought it was great. I have a couple little notes that I wrote down, but a lot of them were just like, I don't know. I just appreciated the movie more than anything. Like I
Yeah.
didn't find myself sitting there like, oh, this wasn't realistic, or I don't like the way this looks. Like I didn't really like everything. Just fit right to me. It seemed like it was just a well placed puzzle piece. I feel like.
Yeah, they told the story really well. And I don't want to compare it to Rebel Moon, but I do think there were some similarities. And I mean, right off the bat, the way that they gave their previously their recap, they did it with the Emperor's daughter giving like a journal entry. That made so much sense.
Yes,
That
I
was
agree.
so much better.
Imperial Diary, year 10,191, third comment. The battle for Arrakis took everyone by surprise. The Harkonnen operation was perpetrated overnight, without warning or declaration of war.
Because it gave you a reason why you were hearing a recap.
Yeah, I that was one of the things I had wrote down. I was like, how the intro was told by the Emperor's daughter instead of some random I don't know
Who they were talking
yeah,
to.
I don't know who was
Who it
introducing
was.
us to Rebel Moon Part
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
But I mean, all that aside, yeah, the way the Emperor's daughter was really like telling us about what just happened prior as like a journal entry was so perfect. Like,
Very
again,
smart.
it just fit.
Yeah.
By morning, the Atreides were no more. All died in the dark. And the Emperor said nothing. Since that night, my father has not been the same.
And it's such a small detail too, but it makes a difference because when something like that happens and you don't have explanation for it, it's just off-putting. But that was a really good transition.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the whole movie honestly, it made a lot of sense. So, full disclosure, we did watch it twice.
Yes.
The first time I feel like I was just a little bit like inundated with information. There was just so much to take in, not in like a bad way, but just the second time around you understood it better. You could kind of pick up on things that you might have missed the first time. Yeah. It was cool watching it a second time.
Yeah, watching it for the second time was satisfying. Very, very satisfying. Like, you got to really understand everything that it seemed like they were all trying to achieve as like a directive team. You know, it just seemed like everything came into place. Like the way everything was shot,
Beautifully
filmed,
shot.
the music, the story they were telling, and how there's more. It's just like being able to appreciate it instead of like in the very first time I watched it, it was like, whoa, this is a lot.
This is a lot.
This is really cool, and this is a lot.
Yeah.
But then the second, it's like, okay, you can kind of like appreciate it more without being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Not that I was overwhelmed to a point where I couldn't appreciate it the first time,
Yeah,
but
not in a bad way.
But my second time, I was just so like, yes, this works.
Yeah. I think the second time around, you also get to like really see it from each person's perspective and understand their individual motives a little bit better. Like for me, the first time, Johnny, that's her name, I think.
Yeah, that's what she said she wanted to be called.
Sorry if I'm butchering it, anybody, but I think obviously Zendaya's great, and I always love her character, but I think the first time I was a little bit confused why she was so angry like I got it, but I didn't fully get it,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there was
yeah.
so much other things going on, so many other things. But the second time around, I tried to watch it more from her perspective, and I fully understood actually where she was coming from.
So explain that to me, because I still don't.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so she's Fremen all the way, and this random stranger comes out of nowhere, and he says he wants to help free the Fremen. He wants to be part of them. And there's this prophecy, and he's rejecting the prophecy. He's very much like, I don't want that. I don't want to lead you. I just want to become part of you and help you. And she takes him she tries to. She's skeptical, but she tries to take him at face value. And that's why when she says, he's like, if we go, was it south or north?
South.
East. Oh, east? I thought you said west.
If we go south, I'm going to lose you. And she was like, you won't lose me as long as you stay who you are. And she meant that, but then he took the elixir. He took the worm juice there.
Yeah, I feel like that scene was kind of muddy in a way, like they weren't really explaining to us like why he felt the need to do it. Like, I remember like the whispers like, drink and you will see, drink and you will see, and this poor dude's been suffering from visions since day one, so
Yeah.
maybe he just wanted an explanation to his visions, and all that did was awaken all this past ancestry of the Fremen people and awaken that whole, what was he supposed to be, the Messiah there
Yeah.
inside
I mean,
him.
Chani was really mad at his mom because she basically orchestrated this whole thing, and she forced him into power, and by drinking that elixir he was no longer himself. He had all these ancestor, their voices in his head, their memories. He knew so much that he should not have known. Like, he
Yeah.
was just all knowing all of a sudden, and then of course he's going to be power hungry because he knows everything. He has all this power, and then he's using the power, and sure, he's still helping the Fremen, but it's not in the same way that she thought he had intended. It's like it got, yeah. I mean, and I read something about how the books were based on, the author of the books wanted to kind of make a point against messiahs, basically, like the danger of believing in a savior.
Yeah.
And I think that through Chani, they really showed that, because everyone else was skeptical, but then they immediately believed and fell in line, and she was still like, no, like, we can save ourselves, we're our own people, we don't need an outsider
Yeah.
to have all this power. And then do what? Because power ultimately corrupts, even if you go in with good intentions.
It just sucks too, because he did take the steps to become one of them,
Yeah, he did.
so
He
it's hard to
did.
say he's an outsider,
I know, he's right on the line, and I do still think he wants to do good for everyone, but good intentions, they don't always work out.
Yeah.
Shizihik ishitama shapito edemashili. Lukatsash vadir kalagash. Uzulfa bit nair gevi barta wadir. Jura hagari imashneriya kala cheskeobit. Hardahaul. O erle chausi jura ha abzir sihi secure tu femni. Dune.
Is that again? Marty.
With that though, with the way that she left, and that's like the ending scene there where it looked at her and she saw all the ships going off to war and she stayed behind. That's one other thing that I don't understand, because she said that she was a Fedaykin and she goes where the fighting is, but the fighting's going off world, so why isn't she going with them?
Yeah, I was very confused about the ending. Well, not very confused, but just a little bit about like just why they focused on her specifically, that
Yeah.
solo shot, because usually when a movie does that, it's because they're about to become antagonist in the
Yeah.
next movie. Like
Yeah.
they're about to become the villain, and you're seeing them like build up all the emotion and like really, get ready. But I don't see how she would be the villain. And I think in the books they're married.
Yeah.
And she just like is a blind believer. So I don't know really what direction they're taking with her. I'm interested to find out, but I'm a little confused about it.
Yeah. You were saying that how like at the end she was waiting to ride the worm. The worm scenes were really cool.
Yeah, they were filmed really well.
Well, I think one of my favorite things about the worms was the Reverend Mother's car seat there, her little worm seat. Remember they put her in like this basket?
Oh,
It's like this little basket. It was so cool.
car seat.
The only thing I had a real question about was like how are they getting all of these people onto the backs of the worm?
Yeah, that did seem so like because it really seems like the worm is still very much a wild creature. Like they don't seem to tame it at all. They just kind of like hop on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I was initially thinking like they would have the worm stop and everybody hop aboard, but
Yeah, that's
that
one
doesn't really seem.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I kind of wrote down in my notes. I wanted to know, like, I guess if anyone knows, post it in the comments. But is there a lore way that everyone gets onto the worm?
There must be in the books, but they just can't put everything in the movie.
Yeah,
You know how that goes.
because I was looking. They had a lot of people on those worms,
Yeah.
like a lot, and like some of them didn't all look like they were like worm riders.
Able to like grab
You know?
hold. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know how they did that one.
I think that they put a lot of details, though, as far as like making a book into a movie. Things obviously get lost, but how they take the water from their dead, and they then that was so sad when I don't know what they called it. Their like ancestor, where all the water went, and it got blown up. It was so sad.
I do not remember the place. It was like where it's how they buried their dead. They drained their water and put it into the pond of life there.
Yeah, that
But
was
yeah.
sad. But yeah, how they showed that they get the water from their dead, and they have the wind traps, and they have their Fremen suits. Like they really did show a lot of details about how people are actually living in this universe, which I thought was well done. Without like slamming it, in your face.
Yeah.
They just kind of told you, and you could pick up on it as it went along.
Yeah. That same place that we just referenced, I can't remember the name, but when Drax there, when he attacked it for the very first time and Paul walks out of the sand like he's Anakin Skywalker, bro, he had so many Darth Vader Anakin Skywalker moments with the hood on.
Yeah.
It looked like Order 66 all over again. Like he had the hood on, he just like slowly was walking out like, you're not gonna stop me.
Yeah, but
He
see,
just had
that's
so much
that's the
confidence in there.
thing. That's the thing that I was saying too. Is like good intentions, but it can go bad really fast.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So with that, because they were showing us every time that he walked out the sand with his hood up, it just, or when he went in to kill the Baron there, when he killed the Baron, the way he walked in, all hooded up, all masked up, and just, I don't know, it just gave me so Darth Vader vibes.
Yeah, and I did think it was very interesting that he found out that him and his mom are related to those people. Ugh, I'm so bad at names. Who are they? They begin with an A. The black and white planet
Oh my God,
there.
I'm drawing a blank.
Not Arachnus. Harnican.
Harkonnen.
Harkonnen. Okay, yeah, them.
Harkonnen.
I thought it was really an interesting twist that they were part of that bloodline because, of course, he's the Messiah. He's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
He's what was his Arachnin?
No. Atreides.
Atreides.
Well, that's his house. So House Atreides, yeah.
And then he's
House Harkonnen and House Atreides.
He's
yeah.
both of them, and then he learned how to be Fremen. So
Yeah.
he really is everything. And the baby, too. Now, the baby has the elixir.
That's
in
what I
her.
was saying. So technically, this mother has produced 2 abominations by the
Yeah.
witch's standards.
Literally, because he wasn't oh, actually, I had a question about that. That was, I think, one of my only main questions about this movie was that the Fremen said, well, the South. Oh gosh, I'm getting confused again. Who are the people that believe in the Messiah?
The Southerners, I think.
Stilgar. I really liked him. He was cool.
Stilgar.
But so they believe in a Messiah who's gonna come save them, right? But if it's a Bene Gesserit, that's only women. But their prophecies, they said he.
No, the prophecy for the planet was that a mother and son was coming.
Yeah, and the son was going to be the Messiah, and
Yeah.
he would survive the elixir, and he would do all
Yes,
this
yes,
stuff.
yes.
So, if the Bene Gesserit are always women, someone had to break that rule and
Yes.
have a man.
Yes.
So why would the mother there, the Bene Gesserit mother, be so against it if it was like common knowledge that it was going to be happening?
Because I think it was not in accordance to their plans yet.
Oh, like they weren't ready
They
for
hadn't
it?
decided that they were ready for that yet. Yeah.
Did you have to go that far?
You chose to train him in the way, in defiance of our rule. He wields our power. He had to be tested to the limits. So much potential wasted in a male. You were told to bear only daughters, but you in your pride thought you could produce the Kwisatz Haderach.
Was I wrong?
You're lucky he didn't die in that room. If he is the one, he has a long way to go. His sight is barely awakened, and now he goes into the fire.
Yeah.
I like that it was him, Paul, and the nephew there. The Baron's nephew?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh gosh, we're so bad at this. We apologize for a lack of
I need to
names.
find-
I want to say like Fair.
Fade Rotha.
Fade.
Fade
Okay.
Rotha. I didn't even look it up too. I didn't. I promise I didn't look it up. I think it's Fade Rotha.
Okay.
Anyway, so when Fade, the nephew, the Baron's nephew, Fade, I like that. Well, that one, they were both special, chosen by the Bene Gesserit. But I truly wish that we got to see more of him.
Yeah, he was interesting.
Like, he was apparently this legend, you know,
Yeah.
amongst the
Harkonnen.
Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. So he was apparently a legend amongst the Harkonnen people. So it would, and he seemed like a very cool, unique, crazy character that it would have been cool to see more of him before we got to just see the arena and then him die to Paul.
Yeah, I would have liked a little bit more.
A little bit
on
more
him.
build up to be like, oh damn, Paul's in trouble. You know?
I would have preferred to see his story than the uncle's story. He bothered me.
The uncle.
Yeah. The guy that he killed. He was like, "Hello, uncle," or grandpa, and then he killed him. The main guy.
The Baron.
Yeah, the Baron.
The Baron. Okay.
He's
yeah.
the uncle. Those two
Yeah,
people were
yeah,
his
yeah,
nephews.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, Drax and Austin Butler there. Yeah.
Oh, big thing.
Hmm.
Can the witches choose the sex of their babies?
Oh yeah, I don't know that either.
I need to know. If you know, let us know in the comments. If it's from the books or something, because we don't know.
It seems like they would have to be able to, or else she wouldn't have been in trouble for having a boy, right?
I would assume. But
Yeah.
that's just like a quick question that I have, if anyone knows.
Oh, another thing about Johnny is she was so against him becoming the savior, and she's been against the prophecy because she's part of the prophecy and she's been against it since birth, it seems. And then he took the elixir and died, and she had to save him. He made her fulfill the prophecy,
Yeah.
What happened?
which was not what she wanted at all.
He's dead.
What did you do to him?
So and then she was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, well, damn, like, I'm really mad at you. This was not what I wanted to do. This is not how I want things to go. I really felt for her. The second time around, it made so much more sense. I really understood where she was coming from, and they did a really great job with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote down cool, unique sounds and music. They did a lot of cool stuff with that.
They did. The cinematography was also just, it was really beautiful.
Soundtrack was great.
I really like Stilgar. Did I say that?
Yeah,
he
you
was
said it.
cool. And I love that they picked the name of the mouse. I love the desert
Wadif?
mouse. Yeah, I like
Wadif?
that was his name, and everyone kind of chuckled, and then Stilgar was like, "No, that is such a powerful name."
Muad'Dib. That is a powerful name.
I feel like any name he said, Stilgar was gonna be behind. But
one thing that I think needed to be noted was I mean, I haven't seen it in any other movie or show. I'm gonna say they invented the gravity suit.
oh, I don't know if they invented it, but it was cool for
It
sure.
was cool.
Yeah.
I really like, and they did a really good job. I could see how it was easy. I don't want to say it was easy, but how they could easily translate having them hooked up to wires in the studio behind the scenes, and still get that really cool gravity-like movement.
Yeah,
So, like, there's not too much magic they really had to do, I would assume.
yeah, we
But
don't
it's
really
still,
know.
again, I'm
but-
just assuming. But it looked like it was something that they could easily be, like why haven't we been doing this? We have to
Yeah.
hook these people up to all this kinds of crazy shit anyway. So
Honestly, wasn't their gravity suit kind of similar to Starfield's? Like their little boost suit?
oh no.
Kind of. It's
No,
kinda similar.
Starfield's little boost pack was it. It just boosted you up. The gravity field took the gravity off,
I
there.
guess, yeah,
So they
yeah.
they could jump off of something high, like they showed when Gurney jumped off the spice harvester, and he came down all soft and smooth. And then they showed the other one when the Harkonnen, like special forces, there when they were
Went
hunting them
up
in the beginning,
yeah.
jumped up to the top of the mountain to hide from the worm sign.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a really cool job of showing, something relatively new. I mean, maybe it's been done before, but
It still looked cool.
it looked cool and it was on the big screen, so.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how his relationship with the Emperor's daughter unfolds and how he handles all of the other, what is it? I don't know what they call them. Gosh, we're so bad at that. But all the other world
Houses.
leaders,
Yeah,
house
the
leaders
other houses.
coming to fight. I'm interested because he doesn't want war, but yet that's what he's just gotten himself into.
Yeah. Well, I am certainly excited for Dune Part 3, I
Dune
guess,
Part
right?
3, yeah, I guess. Big question. Did you like Dune 1 or 2 better?
I think. Oh wow, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'll say Dune 1 just because it was like the introduction to a whole new universe, and it was like really special. Dune 2, I knew what to expect already.
And they delivered.
They delivered. It wasn't worse than the first movie, but I don't think it was better than the first movie.
Yeah.
But I think that first movie has that that implant of like, hey, I was the first. This is why you
This
liked
is
the
new.
second one anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I have to give it to the first one for me personally. What about you?
I agree. I like that. I thought you were going to say you liked the second one because there was more action. It was more fast paced. But I like the first one better. Again, like not so much better. It didn't like blow the second one out of the water, but I just really like the lead up. I love Oscar Isaac. I liked
Yeah.
I liked Paul's whole backstory of like becoming becoming a man, he has all this power all of a sudden, he has all this responsibility. What's he gonna do? Him and his mom, their relationship is changing. We're learning about the Fremen. I just really enjoyed like being introduced to everything.
Yeah.
And then this one, I mean, there was action, there was a lot going on. He was proving himself to the Fremen. They followed the story very well. Like they added to it with the second movie.
Yeah.
But
agree.
I do like the introduction. I like the first one better.
Yeah, solid. I wonder what IGN said. Maybe we'll take a look at what they said.
I think there's a general consensus that the first one was a little too slow and the second one was a little too rushed.
All right.
I think. I don't know about IGN specifically, but
All right.
which I suppose pacing was a little weird, but overall I think they were both really great movies.
Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Dune Part 2 expands the legend of Paul Atreides in spectacular fashion, and the war for Arrakis is an arresting mystical ride at nearly every turn. Denis Villeneuve fully trusts his audience to buy into Dune's increasingly dense mythology, constructing Part 2 as an assault on the senses that succeeds in turning a sprawling saga into an easily digestible, dazzling epic. Though the deep world building sometimes comes at the cost of fleshing out newer characters, the totality of Dune Part 2's transportive power is undeniable.
Alright, cool. Well, I think that's it, right?
I think that's it.
Alright, well, until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, let us know some of those questions that we had, because, again, we didn't read the books, but, yeah, other than that, we'll see you in the next one. Take care.